What's up, buddy?
Hey, man.
So, welcome to this episode of Filming Until Morning. Again, we're having Grant come back, and he is talking to us about Thor. Which Thor? Which Thor movie?
Ragnarok.
Looks like yeah, love it. Cool. So, want to go over first thoughts of walking out of the theater. How did you feel at that point? And kind of where are you at right now?
I took a minute, when the movie was over, just to think, overall. And I think at the very end, I just, absolutely loved it. But that was mostly because of how much nerdiness, I was consumed by in the end.
Right.
But it was the beginning where I found, very off-putting with the humor. Did you get that? Because I
got that hard, dude. The humor was something that was hard to get through for me. Because... It was like an episode of Everybody Loves Raymond at some point where it was just set up joke, right. Set up joke. And that's what the dialogue was, and that's how they told a story. And I'm not saying that's not an okay way to tell a movie or to make a movie and to tell a story and everything, but it is a little bit distracting when it feels like an entire civilization's about to die or be, at least not have a home anymore. Spoilers. Spoilers? Big time spoilers. I mean, Thor's been out for a week and a half? Yeah, you deserve to be spoiled at this point.
It was just the opening scene. I felt like that's what set the tone.
Yeah.
And where, he falls down from the chain and he's just hanging there. And right when you realize he's talking to Surtur. So I've been reading Thor comics for a long time,
right.
As have you been. And just to see Surtur there, I was whoa, Surtur. Thor's talking to Surtur in the first fucking scene of the movie, and joke.
Yeah.
And I'm I couldn't get, it was me trying to get over how I'm seeing Surtur in a movie, and they're already hitting me with humor. So, I had to get used to it.
Before I got annoyed with any sort of joking whatsoever, I was so impressed with the trailers for these movies, because you had no idea.
Yeah.
A lot of this stuff that happened in this movie, you had no fucking clue.
That
is one of my biggest gripes with movies these days.
Absolutely.
Is that you'll see a trailer and you'll be like, okay, obviously you're going to show me where this person starts at.
Yeah.
And then you're going to show me what they're doing towards the end of the movie. Mm-hmm. I can kind of fill in some of the stuff in the middle, and I don't really need to go see the movie anymore.
Yeah, some movies just completely give it away. And I wasn't really sure where this one was going to go, even though I had an idea, just because I know the Ragnarok story pretty well, and I know Planet Hulk so well.
Yeah.
But
when Planet Hulk came out, you were so all about. You were so happy with that. You were so thrilled with that.
I love Planet Hulk. I love it so much. But in the trailer though, there was a section where I saw I think it was one of the last trailers, and I try to avoid trailers as much as I can, so it doesn't get ruined for me because I see so many movies. And they did show that clip where the Hulk's going at Surtur, and just seeing that in the trailer, I was like, okay, that's not gonna happen.
Right. Right. It's good. I know it's gonna happen, but it's not gonna be what I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even that was awesome in the movie too. But just to open it up with Surtur, but to hit you with that humor right away, the first time I saw the movie, I saw it twice, and the first time I saw the movie, I was really off-put by the humor, because it was just this ongoing battle in my head of my nerdiness versus how funny the movie is. And the second time I saw it, I was able to differentiate, and I really enjoyed it the second time around. And I found it more funny the second time. And I think that's just something we're going to have to get used to as far as the Marvel universe going forward.
Were there any other movies that you watched multiple times and then you liked it more in the Marvel universe like this one, or no?
Probably, I don't want to bring it up. I probably liked Iron Man 3 more.
That's the same one I was thinking
after.
When I first saw that movie, because
we saw that together, and we even had ourselves a little Iron Man marathon beforehand.
Oh, that's right.
And it was the reveal. What was that? Midway through the movie, where we're both sitting there this is no.
This is stupid.
What the
they
fuck?
wouldn't do this. This isn't right. No, we're missing something. You're pulling a fucking leg here. This isn't right. Yeah, no, that was another one. But the more I've watched that, the more I've been like, okay, I can appreciate this a little bit more. But I think one of the things that made me appreciate it was another short they did outside of that, which was that
Hail to the King.
Hail to the King. Yeah, that was like, oh, okay, maybe because I saw that and I knew that like, oh, the ten rings are really going to be a thing.
Right. And then they kind of
right.
But,
so we'll see, because I mean, like, what are we gonna do? We're gonna have 10 rings after Hydra?
I mean, I don't know. It all depends where Iron Man goes. You know, like, is Iron Man gonna even survive the next Avengers? We'll see.
Maybe.
Yeah, but
it'd be awesome if they had Captain America kill him, like Rogers killed.
Oh man.
Iron Man.
that'd be cool.
Never would, but I mean, like, with their feud and everything they've had back and forth, it's like, you killed my mom.
Or how cool would it be if like Tony Stark sacrificed himself to save Cap, just to wrap that up? That'd be great. You know, and hey, maybe it'll happen. Oh man, that'd be sweet though.
Anyway, back to Ragnarok. So we had a lot of shit happen with Thor's hammer Mjolnir. In this movie.
Oh yeah.
You want to talk about that a little bit? Because I got one point I definitely want to hit on.
It was weird. I mean, 20. You know, they spoiled that a little bit in the trailers, but it happened so early in the movie that like Hela destroys Mjolnir, and like right off the bat, like
nope.
It's like, whoa, what?
There's still something with that too.
Yeah, what?
If you watch the trailer when Hela destroys Mjolnir, she destroys it in an alley in what looks like New York or something.
I noticed that where like the whole setting was different.
So they green screened it and then they made you think it was somewhere where it really wasn't, which was fucking incredible.
Yeah.
I loved that. I thought their green screen work was not as on point as it could have been.
Okay.
But because like when you see Odin, that he's sitting out there by the sea and everything, you're like, God damn, this looks fake. Oh, this looks really fake.
Yeah, now that I think of it, I didn't really notice that at the time, just because whenever Odin's on screen, I'm like, this is Odin.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
And there's really not much better acting you can get out of anybody else other than Anthony Hopkins, and he'll hold you in that scene, but there's still space around him where I'm like,
it's funny too, because like,
going on here?
He's pointing out in that scene, like, look at this.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at this green screen.
And as an actor, when you're doing that, I mean, like, he's had plenty of experience doing that. Thing, but as an actor doing that and all, it's not the easiest thing in the world to just like pretend like, oh, you never know like how far away that green screen really is because of whatever restrictions they had in it. It might have been on a gigantic fucking soundstage that we can't even comprehend like how fucking big it was, or it might have been in a much smaller area and they just had an entire green room where they just filmed everything else and all too. Most likely they were on a soundstage and it was no problem, just like having the green screen be way far away where he could gesture to it like this. But there's a possibility, and there's no reason why they couldn't have had it 5 feet away. And then he's like looking at this wall like I'm looking at it right now, be like, look at all, and you gotta push that vision like a mime has to push that vision.
It could have been in Anthony Hopkins' home.
Yeah.
You know, really.
Speaking of Anthony Hopkins, awesome acting, when Loki was playing playing Odin.
Hilarious.
Oh my God.
I was really into that. Like the humor worked for me a lot, and then like I don't know, it's just like they tickled my nerd bones so much, and like I was so satisfied with some of the nerdy parts, and then it's almost like they built me up and then let me down with humor. Like even seeing some of these characters from like Planet Hulk where it's just like, oh my God, like, or even Surtur. It's like Surtur's in this, and then it's like joke. I'm like, huh? You know,
right.
where
it throws you off, and because like I'm looking at this giant fucking fire demon who's got a dick down to the floor, and like I'm supposed to look at this thing and just be like, you're made of lava and crazy darkness and whatever the fuck, whatever else. I'm not, or the eternal fire. I'm not expecting you to be humorous at all, but you are, and that makes me lose faith in your character a little bit.
Although it's kind of funny too, though, because he gives Thor like the timing to turn around. Like they give the joke time to work.
Right.
So it's really weird where like the humor does work, but if you know the story at all, it's really off-putting. You know.
It was off-putting not knowing the story. very well, because I didn't really know anything about the Eternal Fire or anything like that very much. I got into the Thor God of Thunder comics, and then I read through all of those, and I was like, dude, here you go. Like, check these out. These are fucking great.
And I read those, and I think that Thor God of Thunder is probably my favorite Thor story.
It might be my favorite Marvel story.
Oh, wow.
It was fucking awesome. I enjoyed that a lot.
It's really good, and it spans over like thousands of years.
Yeah.
And that's like something that people don't seem to realize is that when Thor shows up in these movies, he's 1,000 years old already. Mm-hmm. Like people don't tend to like acknowledge that he's old as fuck. Mm-hmm. But for a god, he's still young. But Thor is 1,000 years old in these movies. So
they do acknowledge that I think it's in the first Thor movie. Maybe it's in number 2. Maybe it's in Dark World. But they do acknowledge, Loki does say something to the effect of, he's like, they're or Thor says, oh, they're humans, they live and die just like us. And Loki replies back and says, yeah, give or take a millennia or two.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like, yeah, that's really true. I just don't understand, like, and this isn't really that big a deal, but like, how can anybody live to be 1,000 when, like, you take a little knife thing through the chest and you're like, oh, I'm dead.
Yeah.
Like, oh, fuck.
It's like, yeah, and that's another thing.
You
in the movies
point the
general.
objects very well.
Oh, yeah. Just in the movies in general, like comic books, Thor is so, like, overpowered, OP, if you will, that they really like tone it down in the movies, just because he's such a badass. In the comics.
All versions of Thor too.
Yeah, and that's why he's like one of my favorite comic book characters. Like, he's so fucking badass.
Who was the person who was pretending to be Thor in the original Infinity War, Infinity Gauntlet series? It was somebody else. Right. It wasn't even Thor. It was somebody who's pretending to be Thor.
It was a Thor, and he carried the hammer, but it wasn't Thor at the time. So like that wasn't even the Thor we know. Right. Like Odin's son. It wasn't Odin's son. It was oh man, it's been a while since I read Infinity Gauntlet. Yeah. I was gonna refresh on that before the next Avengers.
I have that on my iPad over there. I don't care. I go through it.
I forget his name though. Like I know who you're talking about.
But there's multiple different versions of Thor too.
Oh yeah.
And we've only seen one. And in the comics, I mean, you have oh God! You have the regular, the Thor that we all know and love. Then you have whoever it was who was playing him in the Infinity Gauntlet series, and then you have oh shit, his face was on. It was
Bill.
Bill. You have him, and then you also have the Thor that Reed Richards built together and made the AI of. Yeah. And that kind of started a lot of Civil War.
Yeah. Yeah, in the comics, let me refresh the Civil War era. In the comic books, Thor was also not in Civil War, like he wasn't in the movies. And that was because that was after Ragnarok. Like, Thor was dead at this time. And, like, all of Asgard was dead, all of Ragnarok had happened. And that's just part of the life cycle of the gods. So after Civil War had already happened, the Odin force redeveloped and Thor was reborn, and he brought all the gods back, and that's when he moved Asgard above New Mexico, I believe it was.
Okay.
So Asgard's just floating above New Mexico.
Yeah.
Great storyline. But when he comes back, like immediately he's on Earth, so Tony Stark, he gets that reading, he's like, oh shit, Thor's back. And by this time, Thor already knows what Tony Stark did with Reed Richards and cloned him. Right. And then there's this amazing battle. It's not even a battle, but a fight between Iron Man and Thor, because Iron Man shows up and Thor's like, you're not my fucking friend, and Iron Man's like, chill out, man, and Thor just blasts him with a lightning bolt, fucks him up, and Iron Man's like, I've never seen this kind of power from you, and then his statement was like, I was always holding back, just to show like Iron Man, and then he pulls this like, don't fuck with me, like, you're just a man. I am a god, and takes off, and it's one of the best moments in comics. And because it's Thor,
what series? What was this in?
I forget which series it is, but it takes place right after Civil War. Okay, so like that's when Thor comes back and like realizes he was cloned. Yeah, and like because in Civil War his clone kills who was it? Giant Man. Giant Man. Yeah. I think that's right.
It is. Yeah.
And that's like a big deal because Thor would never kill a friend of his. So Thor was so mad
or
at Tony
he would never
for
even
cloning
kill.
him.
That was another thing
Oh,
that
yeah.
they were freaking out about. They
Yeah.
was like, I can't believe we made this AI out of him, and then he ended up killing and all.
Right.
And then you see them I love this frame where Reed Richards is he's got Mjolnir and he's pulled the hammer open and he's working on all these cables and all this thing. I love that frame. That looks so fucking cool.
That's great.
But yeah. So we have, what's Bill's full name?
Beta Ray Bill?
Beta Ray Bill, that's what it is.
Horseface Thor.
Can you break down where we saw him in the movie and everything?
So they do reference Beta Ray Bill at the Grandmaster's tower. His face is on the wall of champions because he hosts this contest of champions. Mm-hmm. So it's an interesting mix into the Planet Hulk. They squeeze a lot into a little, I feel like. And I mean, we could get into Planet Hulk.
Yeah.
Planet Hulk is...
I think it's important to understand what we've not seen.
Oh, yeah.
Where Hulk has been,
right.
what we're assuming has been going on this entire time.
And we hear in the movie it's been for 2 years.
In your review of this movie on your page, you were talking about how if you haven't seen if you haven't read anything about Planet Hulk, it's basically the movie Gladiator with Hulk.
It's great.
It was that was the best comparison.
Yeah, one of the best Hulk comics, if not the best. And it's kind of a similar situation where, last time we saw Hulk was in the end of the last Avengers movie.
Right, Age of Ultron.
Yeah. And, Hulk takes off in the Wingjet and we have no idea where he goes. Right. And then he shows up in this movie and it's I came in the Wingjet. But, in the Planet Hulk storyline, he is basically tricked into leaving Earth by the Illuminati, who is the Illuminati is Professor X, Tony Stark, Black Bolt. Who else is in the Illuminati?
I don't remember.
The fish guy.
Namor.
Yeah, Namor. Who I'm pretty sure is actually a Skrull. One of those guys is a Skrull at the time.
Really?
But they decide that they can't control the Hulk and he's too dangerous, so they send him out into space they send him to a remote planet of peace to live out his life in peace. And
of course that's going to work well.
Something goes wrong and the ship lands on this crazy fucking planet Sakaar, which is it's basically Avatar, the movie Avatar.
Wait, Sakaar. God damn it! Why does that sound so? I think I'm thinking of. I feel like I've heard that in another Marvel movie at some point. I feel like it was Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Might have been.
Where they mentioned Sakaar. No, Sakaar was a name of...
Hulk's son?
No, fuck, what's his name? Rocky.
Rocket Raccoon?
No, Rocky.
Literally
Rocky. Sylvester Stallone. His character, his name was something like Stikar. There was a T in there.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. There's something similar to that, yeah.
Yeah, it was something. Maybe that was what it was. I don't know, but I know I've heard that somewhere else.
Yeah.
So anytime I hear something like that, I'm just I've seen those movies enough that I know I'm picking up something. But anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, they go to Sakaar.
So he goes to a piece of the planet,
and the Hulk just right away the viciousness and ruthlessness and danger on this planet is so extreme that the Hulk cannot change back into Bruce Banner. And
that's supposed to be a peaceful planet, though, right?
Well, the spaceship got knocked off course and ended up on this dangerous planet.
Oh, okay.
So it was this whole thing. So the Hulk, was mad.
Yeah.
Because that happened to him.
Yeah.
And it's just this crazy series where the Hulk he takes over a planet basically. It starts out as Gladiator. Mm-hmm. He gets put in the arena, and fights all these monsters and other aliens. And
could that just be they just decided to say the Grandmaster is running? We're not going to do Planet Hulk. We're just going to do.
See, that's a whole nother thing. It's the Contest of Champions is a whole nother comic book series where the heroes are forced to fight each other.
It's an app now too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a.
I can't download stuff like that.
I know.
Because I have to live my life.
And I got so into it, and I'd be like, I'm parked here, and just went inside to go. My wife went inside to go. Grab something at some store really quick. I gotta play it. Oh, she's on her way back. I'm gonna finish this fight out. I'm gonna finish this out and everything. Every little moment was obsessed with doing that. I had to delete it off my phone.
Yeah, I can't even imagine having something like that. I can't. Like comics are nothing.
Yeah.
So, in Planet Hulk, he has this group of friends that he creates, other gladiators, and they become bound together almost as brothers, and they call that a warbound. And that includes Korg and Meek, who are in this movie.
Right.
And, that was another thing, is, I never thought I would see Korg in a movie. He was briefly in the last Thor movie, I think, just as a reference.
Did you ever feel like his voice would sound like what it sounded like?
And that's what I was going to get to. I'm seeing Korg, and they turned him into a fucking, comedic thing for the movie. That being said, he was the funniest thing in the movie. It's such mixed emotions about it, where it's just let's put Korg in the movie for the nerds, but let's make him the funniest fucking character. So it's so such mixed emotions.
And so we've seen Korg, or we've never seen Korg before, but we've seen somebody who lives or is sort of like him in the first Thor movie. When they're on that first planet, what is it? No, second Thor movie in Dark World.
Yeah, where he comes up to Thor and Thor breaks him real quick.
Right, yeah, it's done.
So that's some either that at the time they probably didn't think they were going to put Korg in a movie, but
probably not. That might have
wanted
been
to show him off,
That might have been just them saying oh, maybe this is Korg.
Yeah, but that was another moment where I'm like, is that Korg? Right, and then Thor kills him dead.
Probably not.
Yeah,
probably not.
So.
Yeah.
And then you've got Meek in the movie too, and Meek is a huge part of the Planet Hulk, and it's just interesting because they take Hulk after he's already the champion, so it's they just glossed over all of Planet Hulk.
Have we had a movie that's gone back yet?
I don't.
Everything's been progressive, right? I think.
I guess it depends if you think about the Marvel timeline. Where does Doctor Strange take place? I think Miss Marvel's going to take place back in time. I think Miss Marvel's going to take place in the 90s.
We haven't heard anything about any sort of Planet Hulk, World War Hulk, anything about that, have we?
I saw an interview with Mark Ruffalo, and he was saying Hulk's gonna get a movie for sure. Okay. But I have no idea what it's gonna be. Because how cool would that be if they just backtracked?
That's really
and
the
gave
only
us a Planet
thing
Hulk.
They have to really aside from Planet Hulk and What If Wolverine Killed the Hulk are his two most famous comics.
Oh yeah.
That's it. And so if that was it, they gotta go with Planet Hulk or World War Hulk,
and
right?
even how Winter Soldier was Avengers 2.5.
Right.
The Winter Soldier was basically an Avengers movie.
Yeah.
After Planet Hulk is World War Hulk. So after Planet Hulk happens, the ship he came in basically becomes a nuclear weapon and blows up the whole planet, killing everything Hulk has grown to love. Hulk found a queen. He took over the planet. It's his planet. He's a king. He loves his queen.
Yeah,
she's pregnant.
People and everything.
Yeah, she's pregnant. And then,
he was slinging that green dick like crazy.
That's right. Hulk just getting it in. and
it's true.
She could take it. Let's just say that. She's a badass too. That's a whole other character in Planet Hulk. That's fucking fantastic. And everything is destroyed. So Hulk decides, that it was the Illuminati that killed his whole planet. So he just becomes World Breaker Hulk, which is the maddest Hulk has ever been, and decides to take vengeance on all the heroes of Earth and the Illuminati and heads back. And that's what World War Hulk is just this huge Hulk versus everyone. How fucking great would that be if they made that a reality and made it like Winter Soldier, where they bring everybody back into it, but it's a Hulk movie?
That would be pretty fucking cool. And that would be pretty fucking cool, but honestly, we've never seen an output of Thanos yet.
Yeah.
And so anything that Hulk has ever done, and I did think it was really funny when Hulk grabbed Thor and he was beating him back and forth.
Hilarious.
And then, well, finally, you know how
Loki,
it feels.
and Loki's now you know.
Yeah.
Even just referencing that first Avengers movie that was nice.
It's been a long time since that first Avengers movie, dude.
I think we saw Avengers together too.
We did.
Oh, man.
We did. We saw that in 3D because that was the only thing
that's
that had
right.
left. I was so fucking angry about that.
Yeah, fuck 3D. Fuck that shit.
Yep. I was pissed about the fact that we were watching it in 3D for way too long. Way too long. I didn't let go of that shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I saw him banging Loki back and forth and everything, awesome. I was like, God damn it! All right, I don't give a fuck that it's in 3D. Yeah. It doesn't matter. No, this is perfect.
Great moment.
No, it was a lot of fun. But so we've seen quite a bit of Thor.
Cheers, buddy.
From a few other cheers, buddy. From a few other movies, we had the first Thor movie, then we had Thor: The Dark World, and this was obviously a big shift in direction of where they were trying to go with it.
Mm-hmm.
The Dark Elves, they tried to make that a bit more mythical, a bit more out there, and everything.
Did you like
Thor
that second
worlds.
Thor movie?
I kind of did.
I like it.
I
think I like it more than other people, but I feel like that's because I read more Thor comics.
Did you see Stranger Things?
Yeah.
Last season?
Oh, yeah.
Season 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
Caught up.
When, spoiler, when all of that, like, darkness is going into that kid, like that, I was instantly just like, that looks like Jane
right,
with the ether.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Just like, that looked exactly like that. And I thought, that was fucking incredible. That was
what if that
was
being in Stranger Things is the ether? What if that being is an Infinity Stone?
Oh, it's a crossover. Yeah, crossover.
It's a crossover.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's I like Thor 2 a lot, but like that, I think that was a lot of people's least favorite Marvel film. So it's like they had to turn Thor around somehow. And with the success of Guardians of the Galaxy and how funny those movies are, but they also like hit you in the soft spot and just like they really hit you in like a sentimental moments and. I think they just wanted to try something new with Thor, and fucking make it funny.
Yeah.
And like the director, I forget his name right now. He's hilarious.
No.
Shout out to What We Do in the Shadows. He directed that. I think this really works for Thor, and like Chris Hemsworth is naturally funny.
Yeah.
And I think this is probably puts Thor back in good graces with audiences as a whole. It didn't like this is the furthest we got from the Thor character in the comics for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that hurt my nerd a little bit, but Chris Hemsworth does so good.
Yeah,
like
it's not the same as
so
a
good.
comic book.
Yeah,
it's just not the same world,
and that's part of
you
it
just have
too.
to
Like
get used to that.
When you're watching these
hard to.
movies, you just have to remember like they took the movies and made it its own universe.
Right.
Like you've got Earth 616 as the main comics. Well.
You can't even say the main anymore.
I know. It's just like I could get into it, but we're gonna be here for hours. But yeah, no, they said like the Marvel Cinematic Universe is its own universe, so it's like I can accept it then. And after the second time I saw it, I really enjoyed it. Like I really enjoyed the movie.
It was really good.
Do you know how much money the movie made? I think it's made a shit ton of money.
I don't know. I know it was the highest rated Marvel movie.
Could you look that up?
So Thor costs. I just pulled this up. It ended up costing $330 million to create it.
Oh, really?
$330 million.
Probably includes marketing, right?
600,000 plus. But that, first off, working on features like indie features.
Yeah.
Like we're gonna make a movie. A lot of green screen for $70,000, and then to think about this and everything they're doing with this. First off, like that's just full blown insanity. Like that sort of budget. People get like a $2 million budget, and they're like, "Oh, I can do so much with this.
Yeah.
I can really create a lot." And it's like you have no idea how fast you burn through that money.
Oh,
and
I bet.
A lot of movies get like a $2 million budget and they burn through it and it's gone and they're fucked and they got to do something else to be able to finish up the editing process and all.
Yeah.
A lot of that comes from actors and SAG and everything who need to get their fair share, this and that, whatever the fuck. There are a couple people who will do it differently. Like Adam Sandler is like, we're not taking fucking breaks. We're not going to do that. Penalties and everything? Yeah, I don't give a shit. I'll pay your lunch penalty. What's that mean? You make 4 times as much as what you're making in the rest of the day?
Yeah.
Everyone's like, I'm on fucking board. Right? And everyone's happy about it. But having a budget of $330 million and then to blow past it and then to make internationally $400-something million
On the first weekend.
On the first weekend, yeah.
That's
that's
amazing. Amazing.
And it's the thing too is that like this thing still has the long tail of what's going to happen with it. There's like that initial spike, and then the long tail of what's it going to make like in the rest of it.
And a lot of that has to do with like word of mouth too. And like what would you say? It was like a 93% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Like this movie's gonna make some money for a while.
Yeah, it will. And I mean, like people are buying way less and less Blu-rays. That's weird. You hear that?
I did.
That's strange.
Do you have A ghost?
I think I have a ghost. People are buying way less Blu-rays and DVDs and everything else now than they ever have before, just because of everything that you can purchase.
God, Netflix, streaming.
Exactly. iTunes, whatever the fuck. You can download it and it's there and you don't have to have another fucking thing in your house. Which I am a big fan of.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that they're still not making money off of those online sales. If you think after I watched Spider-Man Homecoming, I didn't go home and immediately get on iTunes and be like, pre-order that shit.
Yeah.
You are sadly mistaken.
Yeah.
And I should have done the same thing with this movie.
True. So good.
I'm a big fan of it, but that's the thing too, is like you don't know what's going to end up on Netflix, what's not, and that's kind of a weird line, because if it's on Netflix, then I'm not going to fucking buy it. I'm going to go to Netflix and I'm going to maintain my subscription there. I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
When I saw Civil War on Netflix,
I was so excited.
I was like, what the fuck?
Same with Doctor Strange. Like, it just showed up one day. I was like, what?
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah. So, Thor and his other weapons.
Yeah.
To break that down.
Yeah, Mjolnir got destroyed. Mm-hmm. So the question is, and I know this movie was more like, kind of like Iron Man 3. Let's show who Thor is and what his power is without the hammer. Right. Which is still heartbreaking because Mjolnir is basically a character. And like it's such an amazing weapon.
I mean, it's a there's no other. The closest thing is Iron Man's suits. Yeah. So like the respect that's given to it, because it's not like, well, his suits have gotten nicknamed. Yeah, it's pretty close comparison. Yeah. Like in the way that people react to it and everything, because like what was her name? Jane Fonda's assistant.
Oh, Jane Foster's
assistant. Fonda.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Kat Dennings.
Yeah.
Is that Kat Dennings?
I think so. She's like Mew Mew.
Mew Mew. Yeah.
And like he's got a nickname.
Yeah, it's always like a cute little thing.
And like you see that in Iron Man 3 with all the nicknames for his different types of suits and everything like that, which is, you know, Iron Man 3 and Thor 2 I think are pretty comparable and all. Yeah. But anyway, so we have Mjolnir got destroyed horribly. And then what else? You were talking. Like,
well, I was just thinking that like that whole point of Mjolnir getting destroyed. I needed more of Thor being like more destroyed over it. Like you know, he's had this hammer for how long, and I wanted more of him being sad,
given to him by his father,
right? Yeah. And like they made it into like a joke when he was like telling the Hulk about it, and that was like the only time like really he referenced it. Oh, and talking to Korg. And like another joke. Yeah. But what really worked for me was when they brought it back around, and when he's having like his vision and he's talking to Odin, and he's like, I don't know how to beat her, and Odin says, what are you the god of? You're not the god of hammers. And that's when Thor fucking hits her with a goddamn lightning bolt.
Dude, that was powerful.
Awesome.
That was very powerful.
I was so happy with that.
I wanted to see a little bit more struggle. I mean, I am bitching about it, but I wanted to see a little bit more struggle for Thor to be able to do something to bring that power up and everything. Yeah, but we only have so much time in a fucking movie.
And after watching it a second time, because he kind of taps into his true power, which is more prevalent in the comics, obviously. But he taps into it when he's fighting the Hulk, and like he has that awesome like punch. And like that great shot of it, just this big fucking explosion and the Hulk getting knocked the fuck out for a second, just this. That was awesome. And then when he was fighting Hela again, and then he has his whole like punching, Hela's henchmen.
Can you break down like what the fuck happened with why did like Odin died and Hela came back? So his power, he was using part of his power to keep her under wraps or something. Yeah. What was going on with her?
That was the thing I wanted to talk about for sure about Hela. Is like, first off, how much did you like Hela?
I liked her.
I thought Hela was a great villain.
Yeah. And you know what? Here's the other thing too, is something that makes a great villain is that I was able to relate with her and be not in any way, shape, or form that is actually practical whatsoever.
Are you Hela?
But I'm a little bit Hela. I was able to look at her and be like, you have a reason that I can understand for being as angry as you are.
Yeah, especially if Odin was as like, bloodlusty as she claims in the past, which makes sense because, somehow they had to conquer like the 9 realms to be the Asgardians and like be the head of all that.
What was the name of her wolf?
I totally forgot the name of the wolf. I was just thinking about that earlier. I was like, who the fuck is that wolf? Because the wolf was fucking great too.
Yeah.
It's like her majestic pet. I really like, I like what they did with Hela, and like, being a fucking nerd, I know that Hela is Loki's daughter. And I was wondering what they were going to do with that, just because Cate Blanchett is obviously older than, who's the guy that plays Loki?
Loki.
Yeah, just she's older than Loki, and you can tell. So I was curious how they were going to do that. Tom Hiddleston. Yeah.
Fenris?
What was that?
The Fenris wolf?
Fenris wolf?
Yeah.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
What a badass wolf, though, huh?
Seriously.
And I mean, the wolf fighting the Hulk. Yes.
Dude, we see so much about, like, what makes sense about, like, Asgard being destroyed, though, what I really liked about it was this point where it's like, you see this wolf, this crazy, majestic wolf, come back when she's like, oh, what have they done to you? Or whatever. And you see him come back and all. It's like, all we've seen of Asgard is really like some mountains here and there when they fly through this other rainbow bridge that's hidden, fucking whatever. And we've seen the city and throne room and shit like that.
Yeah.
We've never like gone around the planet or anything like that to see something else. So I'm of the opinion that basically it's overpopulated. And we have like a ton of people on this planet. And creatures like that are not as prevalent as they ever used to be.
You don't see like
ever
any
before.
animals on Asgard.
Never.
But
and I thought that was interesting that it was like, okay, well now it's time to destroy and start again.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Like I love Hela, I love the wolf. As far as like them changing Hela's character to be Odin's firstborn and Odin's daughter.
That bother you?
Well, at first it did, just because I really like the dynamic of Hela as Loki's daughter, because they have a really good dynamic.
It
but
makes more sense.
Yeah, but like as like Odin's like weapon, like his living weapon that he has, and how she just like has this bloodlust to conquer and kill, and she's the goddess of death, and like that made so much sense. Like I totally forgive how they changed that, and I thought it worked for the story really well, and it was a good arc for her. Like she's coming back to claim her kingdom,
right?
And Odin's power, because Odin dies, and Odin was the only thing holding her back. So once he dies, she comes back, and it's like immediate.
Yeah.
And I think that shows how powerful she is. I was little
kind of shows how powerful Odin is too.
Oh, Odin fucking
yeah.
They never even touch on that.
No.
But I mean, I could get into that too. Even Odin's eyeball.
How did you feel about Thor losing his eyeball? By the way,
I thought it was a little soon.
Yeah.
It does happen.
Does.
He also loses his arm at some point. Curious about if that's gonna go down.
We'll see. It's the half-built god.
But I think a lot of the liberties they took with Hela was just to show how powerful she is, because they didn't really give us an idea of what her power is. She just throws knives.
Yeah. I just throw a fucking sword.
Just throws knives everywhere.
Yank. Can you materialize shit, or is it just you make shit just to kill things?
Right, and I don't know.
I don't know.
It looked cool, and I thought it carried over well. But I was talking to you before I even saw the movie, and like just from the trailer, you see that shot with her holding the sword, and I thought that might have been the Necro sword from your favorite Thor comic.
Wow.
Arguably mine.
Yeah.
And when I saw
that was
that,
a connection. You were talking about there was being a connection there. I didn't know where you were talking about the connection.
I got excited when I saw that, because it looks just like the Necro sword, and the Necro sword is this super powerful sword that gives you this weird power over death. And
maybe that's why she is the goddess of death.
It could be, and like I was hoping that the God Butcher would come out of that, and maybe he will. Because how cool would it be later on if there's another Thor movie, and they just bring the God Butcher into it? Because it's just that story takes place over thousands of years, and you've got your 3 different versions of Thor, and oh man, that'd be great. And time travel. Fucking
kind of like that.
Thor in time travel.
I mean, that wouldn't be a far reach for Marvel to jump to, is to time travel next, right?
Yeah, and especially if it's with Thor. Because how fucking cool is it, the idea of having Thor from like young ambitious dickhead Thor, who's handsome as fuck, and then like the noble Thor you know now, to old broken down Thor, all teaming up to face one villain with 2 hammers, multiple hammers, because young
all
Thor...
All of the hammers.
I just young Thor doesn't have the hammer yet. He's got his axe. I think it's pronounced Yarnborn, but that's another thing in the movie. I kind of wish, since Thor's hammer got taken away, if they referenced that.
Would you have been pissed at all if he lost his hammer and it's like, oh, he found another weapon immediately? Would that have bothered you at all?
Probably.
Yeah.
Just because it'd be like replacing a dead pet.
Speaking of dead pets, Warriors 3.
Yeah, man.
How did you feel about them dying off?
I mean, to be completely honest, didn't really bother me.
I was so happy that I was just like, yes! 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 I was so happy that all of them died because I felt like in the first Thor, that was how can you eat at a time like this?
Yeah, the
shut the fuck up.
The chummy, hey, we are Thor's friends.
Yes.
Nobody
cares about the Wonder Friends. Yeah. Nobody cares.
Yeah, and it's I thought it was a good way to establish Hela's power. And when people go, where are the Warriors 3? And Hela's just dead, battle, dead. And it's just oh, Hela's fucking serious.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, it's, again, just like Iron Man 3, where it's let's destroy the suits. You see the... whatever the fuck, for the guy from AIM, all of his creations or whatever, they start, going through the suits. And my wife actually said this, Jess actually said this, when she was just you know what? It's kind of lame how easily they destroy the suits and everything. Because if they destroy them that easily, were they really that strong? Because I'm not buying that these characters are that strong. And that is the same way I feel about the Warriors 3. Is that it's okay, if they're killed this easily, were they really that powerful to begin with?
Yeah.
Or were they just fucking pussies and they just got wiped the fuck out?
That was another topic I wanted to talk to you about, was how weak they made Asgardians look. And I know they wanted to establish Hela's power, but when you've got Heimdall, and he's his whole role in this movie is sheltering the Asgardians, and it's just dude, everyone in Asgard is a fucking god.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Everyone in Asgard's a god?
Yeah.
Okay.
God of something. You could be the god of birds or the god of kisses, the god of flowers. They're still
a lot
gods.
Of gods of accounting out there that weren't really doing too much fucking.
Someone's got to do the books, man.
But
you've got this base level of gods, and gods are pretty fucking strong, and they all have some kind of power of their own. And the fact that Heimdall's strong as fuck and such a cool character, but that fact that he's sheltering all these women and children, and it's just come on, I'll save everyone. And it's these aren't people, they're fucking gods. I wish that would have been represented a little better, and I feel I'm getting really nitpicky, but I think that also shows how good this movie is
that you can get that nitpicky about it, because we're gonna have something to whine about one way or another,
right?
But if we're whining about something the other nameless gods that we didn't know what they were gods of, I wish that they would have been strong. Then I think you got a pretty good fucking movie right there.
There's this whole other, and man, save it for another movie. That's a good point. There's this whole other storyline when Thor comes back and puts Asgard above New Mexico. I swear it's New Mexico. And one of the goddesses meets a human, and they fall in love. And it's a nice little story, but it also shows how everyone in Asgard is a god.
Yeah.
And every god has some kind of, potential, and is more than just a random person to be saved.
Yeah.
And that's why Thor often goes to Earth. Thor protects people,
right,
not gods. Asgard doesn't always need Thor there.
Right, but we don't, aside from the Destroyer, we don't really see very much of what is protecting Asgard.
Where was the Destroyer in this movie?
Not in this movie, in the first one.
Oh, yeah, I know, but
yeah,
Thor could have used that.
Thor could have used that. Hela could have used that when she was walking through the treasure room. Let's talk about the treasure room.
But also, the Destroyer is that big suit of armor, that big magic suit of armor that Thor had to defeat in the first movie.
Right.
All right, the treasure room.
I fucking am so happy that Hela looks at all this shit and goes, fake. fake.
What a good way to just take a plot hole from the first Thor, because you see the Infinity Gauntlet in the first Thor.
Right.
And like when you're seeing the first Thor, because that was the second Marvel movie, I think. And you're just like, is that the fucking Infinity Gauntlet?
Yep.
And you're like, oh, I'm a nerd. I love this. And then later on, as they build Thanos into storyline, you're like, okay, but I saw the Infinity Gauntlet.
Is there anything special about the gauntlet
Odin's
itself?
Thor room. What?
Is there anything special about the gauntlet itself?
Oh, the actual
without
glove?
the Infinity Stones?
I think it's just a glove.
It's just a glove.
I think so. And Infinity Stones are everything.
I got a glove anywhere? I got gloves down there.
Throw some Infinity Stones
Fuck
on
it,
there.
I'm good to go,
and
dude.
You are the man. But Hela walks through the throne room and just like it's the first thing, and she's like fake, pushes it over, and it's just like it's just Marvel Studios being like, eat it, nerds. And I was just like, bravo, bravo, you got me.
Well, you got me or nice cover, one of the two. But
both.
I don't really give a shit. Like, I'm happy that the story just works.
Yeah, and it's just covering up a plot hole. They're just fixing something that someone else put in there earlier in the movie. But my favorite thing in the throne room is Hela takes a look at the cube, and she goes,
I just wanted. That's
not bad.
Yeah.
And then Loki later on is in the fucking throne room and sees it and just does his little Loki look, So it's just like, I think Loki definitely grabbed the cube.
Yeah, that's the thing with Loki, is that we really don't know what he decides to do, because he can be in multiple places at once.
And they did take the cube back to Asgard.
Right.
After the first Avengers,
and she probably would have known that it's a weird thing when a character knows more than a writer does, right? So if like she's walking through there and being like fake, that's not bad. Like if she's doing that, then a writer can't really be like, oh no, that was fake too. It's really over here, because then you're so undermining what a character can do and say,
it's
and
clever.
what they think, what
it's
they know.
It's a clever way to cover that up.
Yeah, so it's interesting where a character actually gets to say like, oh, this is what's real, and then the writers are like, now we're bound to this.
Yeah.
Now we can't do any backups again or anything like that. But I was really happy with that, and I didn't know a ton about the Eternal Fire or anything like that.
Yeah, like the Eternal Flame in there.
Yeah. And so can you talk about a little bit about so Odin dies, and then the fire is supposed to create. So
the way like Surtur works is Surtur's entire like purpose is to destroy Asgard. So it's like a prophecy. So the only way Surtur can get that much power, because he's a flame demon, is to get the eternal flame and put it in his crown, and then he just grows enormous, and then he has the power to destroy Asgard. So that's what Thor is fighting against pretty much the whole movie.
Right.
Is this prophecy of Ragnarok, and Surtur is the bringer of Ragnarok in this story, which is that's fine. But I didn't see it coming when the way to destroy Hela is to actually make Ragnarok happen.
Right.
And just let it happen, and Odin gives Thor that little pep talk that Asgard isn't a place, it's the people.
Right.
And there's just life lessons.
Yeah.
But
something you probably should have figured out from 4,000 years ago. But whatever. That's
for
cool.
sure.
That's cool.
But I mean, fucking how amazing was that, where it's just like, oh, we're gonna do this, and Surtur grows, starts tearing shit up, and that the only thing Hela can do, because Asgard is the source of Hela's power, and the only thing she can do is fight Surtur, and you get a fight scene between Hela and Surtur. Like,
who thought that was gonna happen?
What? And how fucking cool was that, man? Like, that's where I had to sit back when the movie was over. I'm like, I saw Hela fight Surtur. Like this movie's amazing.
It's pretty fucking awesome.
And like how smart of writing to just say that, because everyone was saying you can't stop Ragnarok. It's the life cycle of the Asgardians, and when Thor accepted that, it was just a growing up point for his character as well. And I just thought that was so fucking cool.
Yeah, I thought that what's his name? I thought that I didn't think that that was going to be Surtur when we first, you sit down and you're watching the movie and you see Thor talking to him. I thought that was going to be Mephisto.
Oh yeah,
I thought that's
yeah.
who that was going to be, and I was just like, that's an interesting way to spin that and everything.
Oh, I would like that,
because then that would lead us immediately into the Infinity Gauntlet.
What if they did replace Mephisto? Because Mephisto is a big part of Infinity Gauntlet storyline.
Yeah.
What if they did replace Mephisto with Surtur?
They totally could, but
because Surtur has his power now.
Surtur's done now.
Mm-hmm.
But he's done. He already destroyed Asgard. He's done his purpose.
Yeah.
Is he still that big, wandering around, or what?
I mean, I'd love if Surtur came back.
So this giant fucking ship pulls up at the end, and we're led to believe that that's
I think
a
it's
giant
Thanos.
fucking ship.
Yeah, I think it's Thanos.
We've never seen a ship from Thanos.
Mm-mm.
Where's how far is the fucking parking lot to that fucking stone step thing inside where we always see you? You've never gotten off your fucking chair.
Yep.
Like, you've always been there.
There was that extra scene in I forget which fucking movie.
I'll do it myself. Does that shit. That's cool.
I think that's gonna be the whole next Avengers is Thanos just kind of bouncing across the galaxy, collecting the Infinity Stones and fucking shit up.
Which one do you think he's going to go for first? What's the most obtainable one? I guess it's on Asgard, right? Because they destroyed everything there, and so that's just that.
Unless Loki has it.
Unless Loki has it, right? No,
where's Loki right now?
That's a good point.
Is Loki's with Thor, right?
Okay, so
I think he was left with Thor in the end. But if he has the cosmic cube, then he can pretty much go wherever the fuck he wants.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. That's the thing about the cube is that everything else seems to be like the Mind Stone had a casing and then it's a smaller stone. We haven't seen what's inside the cube or how the cube shifts to be smaller to fit into the gauntlet. That's something I'm definitely interested in.
Yeah.
Is the cube also a housing just like the Mind Stone was?
It's gotta be, right?
Or, I mean, I suppose.
Yeah.
But it might not be.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not going to have like a giant fucking cube on top of his.
No.
Right. So, and like same thing for the ether too. It's always liquid form. How do we move the liquid form back into a solid state and get that on?
I'm just going to assume Thanos knows how to control all the stones, you know?
And it goes.
I just like, could you imagine, like, here's what I want. I want Thanos to go after the Nova Corps because I know they have at least one of the stones. And how cool would it be if Thanos fucks them up and then you get the Nova storyline? Like, Nova comes and, like, he's the result of, like, Thanos destroying all of the Nova Corps.
We haven't heard anything about Nova. What we have heard about is Ms. Marvel.
Yes.
And I thought we were going to see Ms. Marvel in this. I thought that we were going to see the Guardians in this, honestly.
Yeah. I
mean,
were you
see a bunch of
though?
ships. A little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe, well, God damn it, dude. Like, okay, so what's it going to be? Is it that, like, we're moving too fast with all this shit? Like, in each movie, like, there's always something big happening, something crazy happening? Or are we just saying, like, you know what? Every movie, we're going to make a big step forward. Honestly, Thor 2 was not a big step forward. First Thor was not really a big step forward. Like kind of, but, like, he came to Earth.
Yeah.
The end.
Yeah.
Like, he could do that in a post-credits scene. Like, he could come to Earth, and then, like, some lady hits him with her car, and then she's just like, oh, I hit this guy. And, like, that's, like, he came to Earth, and we can skip the Destroyer shit, we can skip all the other stuff and everything. There wasn't a ton that happened in those. This one, something started to happen.
Huge.
Really started to happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed the other movies, but they weren't as good as this one.
Yeah,
but
this is just.
I definitely felt like they were like, this worked for Guardians of the Galaxy, so this is going to work for Thor. And the reason I'm feeling like that more now after seeing it than before when I saw it, when I definitely thought that before, I was like, oh, they're going the same way as Guardians of the Galaxy, making it feel this 80s vibe and this other shit like that and all. Because they're going to be bringing Guardians of the Galaxy and Thor together.
Yeah.
That's why they're changing the entire brand for this thing.
Meshing of tones, if you will.
Yes, exactly. So when they bring these two brands together, one's gonna lean a little bit more towards the side that they know Guardians of the Galaxy 2 has really performed very, very well.
Yeah, that's a good
ships
point.
that you
That's a
see
great
in
point.
there and everything.
Yeah.
They're on fucking point of being Ravager ships and shit. And then what was the one that Mark Ruffalo was driving? Or flying, whatever. Like the disc that had like the center in it.
Oh yeah.
Like that looked like Ms. Marvel's shit.
Yeah.
Like when it's in the trailer and everything.
That's true.
Like I was excited to see her. We got so much in this, but I feel like it wouldn't have cost more than like 2 or 3 lines to give a little bit more.
Yeah, a few more references would have been cool. I mean, we'll see where they go with it. Yeah. I would love to talk about the Hulk.
Fucking let's talk about the Hulk.
I mean, let's put Planet Hulk aside because
okay.
you know we touched on that.
We want to go down that rabbit hole though.
But yeah, oh man, I just love Planet Hulk. But the Hulk as a character, what did you think?
I feel like he was off. I feel like he was off because I feel like he had way too much control over everything that was going on, and there was no reason for him to maintain being the Hulk because he had plenty of points to be calm.
Yeah.
But the reason I'm thinking this is because we haven't seen him for 2 years.
Right.
So we have no idea what's happened to him.
Yeah.
So me making a critique on why the Hulk is the way the Hulk is... Miss Guzzi, by the way... Drinking Pony. Half Acre. Good shit.
Great shit.
The reason the way the Hulk is the way he is, we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, they don't really cover it. They kind of like do almost a piss poor job of being just like, oh, why has the Hulk been the Hulk for 2 years? And Bruce Banner is kind of freaking out about that.
I love seeing Natasha come back up on that screen, though.
Yeah.
You see that message replayed and everything?
And like
it didn't get him then.
It was also like an ongoing joke that totally worked for me because the when the Black Widow calms down the Hulk in the second Avengers movie and she's like, sun's getting really low and Thor thinks he can do that.
Yeah.
And he just like
he gets kind of close though.
Yeah, but
you feel like he gets kind of close.
Totally.
Yeah.
And like Bruce Banner's freaking out because he's been the Hulk for 2 years and he literally wakes up on a planet. He has no idea what's going on. So he's just like, that. what the and like talking to my mom a little bit, she didn't like that. She thought it made Bruce Banner look like kind of an idiot.
Yeah.
Which I can agree with.
But you don't know what that's like. Is it a completely different person?
If you blacked out for literally 2 years and woke up on an alien planet, like, I think you'd be the same way.
Here's where I call horse shit.
Yeah.
Hulk does not like Banner.
Right.
Banner does not like Hulk.
Yeah.
They know that, but it's like one doesn't know what happens when the other one is the other one. It's like they know who they are, but they don't know their experiences, so they have no basis in understanding who they are and the reason that they are the way they are.
Yeah.
The decisions that they make and their experiences and everything like that. So they don't really know that they don't like the other one.
Yeah. There's not enough like explanation.
Which could be good development later down the road.
Yeah, down the road for sure.
It doesn't make sense that Banner wouldn't know what the Hulk has been doing. It wouldn't make sense that the Hulk wouldn't know what Banner has been doing.
They should have some kind of idea.
Because, some kind of...
It should be like a dream.
Vague,
it should be like a dream.
Like, this thing, I remember this, or whatever.
It should be like when you're wasted and like a couple days later you remember the shit that you did when you were drunk.
Yeah, right now. No, I'm not that. No.
In Planet Hulk, going back to Planet Hulk again, because I feel like we have to. The planet was so like savage that like the Hulk had to be the Hulk, and that was their explanation for that. Is that Bruce Banner? There's no way he could survive. So it was almost like an agreement between the Hulk and Banner, and it was the best Hulk you've ever gotten because it was a smart Hulk, and like they coincided with like one body, and they were in agreement, and that also explained like why he talked. And that was another thing my mom brought up, is she didn't like the fact that the Hulk was talking. And I was like, that's a good point for someone that just watches the movies.
You know what's really funny, dude, is my mom said the same thing.
Yes. Moms, man. Shout out to moms.
Hating on the Hulk. Hating on the Hulk. Knowing his, you don't know what happened. Maybe he got that hooked on phonics shit, and then all of a sudden he can talk.
But like where the Hulk can't like talk for a few movies, where he just says Hulk smash, and that's what he thinks. And to jump to 2 years later and the Hulk is having full-blown conversations with people. He's still kind of dumb, but like he's still having like conversations. And
he's still like, not even is he having conversations, and yes, he is a little bit dumb, but he's having conversations and he's saying things that he's insinuating things.
Yeah.
So like he's understanding that there's even a layer deeper than what the words you're saying. There's a layer deeper of what I'm trying to make this person feel that way.
Yeah.
And that we saw that when he was like, yes, but Hulk like raging fire, Thor like water.
Yeah.
Or like smoldering fire.
It worked for the comedy. And like that's what they did. Like
everything worked for the comedy.
I know, right? Like the comedy was done really well considering there's so much of it. And it was a lot of like missed explanation and just kind of you just have to accept what it is.
Sure.
And that would have been a nice thing to get to know. Like if Banner and the Hulk could like agree and like just own one body and like work together, that's the most powerful Hulk. So I'm hoping we get that in the future.
Like imagine that. Like when Banner wants to go ahead and say like, I need to be the Hulk now, and the Hulk is in full control, and the Hulk's like, I need to be Banner now.
Yeah.
Banner's in full control.
Yeah.
Like, and to be able to switch back.
What if we get a World War Hulk where they do agree, and he's just world breaker, most powerful Hulk, and that turns into a whole thing? That'd be fucking amazing.
It would be fucking amazing. But Hulk movies have not performed very well in the past, and
True.
You know what? Ed Norton is a damn good fucking actor, dude.
Maybe that's what they took. Maybe that's what it took, is that they needed to ease the Hulk into a character that people love.
Do you wish Ed Norton was still the Hulk?
I liked him a lot as the Hulk.
I mean, like, with the production that they're doing, the style, in the way that they're doing it, and the way that they're filming it, and the way that they're making it now, placing Ed Norton there instead of Mark Ruffalo, do you wish that he was there? Because that Incredible Hulk movie that they made with Ed Norton is not the same type of movie that they made with Mark Ruffalo.
No.
Is not at all the same. I mean,
that comes down to who do I like more as Bruce Banner. And I like Mark Ruffalo more because he's more of a believable nerd.
You know what?
I'm not saying Ed Norton can't pull it off. And
Right.
Ed Norton, like, his whole career is honestly like self versus self, like Fight Club.
Yeah.
You can name how many movies that Ed Norton has played a version of himself fighting himself.
Yeah.
Like every Ed Norton movie.
Pretty much. What was that one he did early on when he was a prisoner and he was what was that?
Oh, what the fucking movie was that?
Oh, I can't.
Primal Fear.
Primal Fear. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's he was good. And my second favorite.
Birdman too.
Yeah.
Birdman too. He was even fighting against himself.
Ed Norton loves that kind of character, and like I know he loves that kind of character, but as like a scientist, I don't buy it.
Yeah, fuck. You're right.
I just
Shit.
like when you see Mark Ruffalo talk to Tony Stark and they're just nerding out.
You're such a fucking nerd.
It's great.
Yeah, and
it's
you're fine with it.
And I don't know if I could see Edward Norton having a conversation with Tony Stark.
Oh, that's so hard to agree with.
I like Mark
Ruffalo. I totally buy what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
But I know how good of an actor, or I have a slight idea of how good an actor Ed Norton is, and thinking that like he can't pull off like a certain part that's a little bit foreign to me. But maybe he could, but
he's a good like dweeb, but like a scientist, I don't know.
Yeah,
I just don't buy it.
I guess I don't think of Tyler Durden as being a dweeb, but it kind of is.
Yeah.
It fucking is. Yeah. Dweeb that takes over. Anywho.
Yeah. What else did I want to cover here? Should we talk about Jeff Goldblum as Grandmaster?
We should talk about Jeff Goldblum as anything. I could talk about Jeff Goldblum in Independence Day.
I love seeing the Grandmaster.
Yeah.
I mean, even the second Independence Day, like he was the movie.
I never saw Resurgence.
I mean, you don't need to.
I don't think I do.
But if you want to see like Jeff Goldblum at the top of his game, maybe check it out.
Yeah.
But I love Jeff Goldblum in this, and like with the tone of the movie, I thought he was perfect. Yeah. I thought he was fucking perfect, and especially like just making fun of Thor.
Did not give a fuck about anybody. They're just like everything was play.
Yeah, and it's just like, hey Jeff, could you just be Jeff? And he pulled it off amazingly. Love Jeff Goldblum.
I felt like I could still see his character from Godzilla.
Oh yeah, fuck.
Like he just, it's a very interesting thing when an actor can go from being something where it's like, oh, I'm a scientist in a Godzilla movie, and he's being the Grandmaster here. It's still this. It feels like it's still the same person, but it works in both places. I think that is some incredible fucking acting.
Yeah,
and to throw like props where they should go to, casting as well.
Oh yeah, and he's just great as the Grandmaster, and like, you know, this dude that just loves watching overpowered beings fight each other. And I don't know if you knew, but the Grandmaster is brothers with the Collector.
Oh, that makes total sense.
They are
did
brothers.
Not know that, but that is total sense.
Yeah, they're totally brothers, and to see them interact in the future would I would just nerdgasm everywhere.
Oh my god!
I fucking love that.
Oh, Del Toro and Jeff Goldblum acting together in the same room. Have they ever done anything together before?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head.
Me either. God damn.
That'd be great though.
That'd be so good. And I'm thinking about like Del Toro's character in like a lot of other movies as well, like Snatch.
Yeah.
As well. And like, and how would that character interact with Jeff Goldblum as well? And like just the way, like it's black and white, but they have these gray areas where I feel like they could jump in. I have no idea how that would.
Even him as like the Collector, he's such a weirdo.
Oh yeah,
I loved.
He's gotta be.
I loved his take on the Collector. Yeah. Like I loved it, and that's another thing that's bringing together Thor and Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah. Like that's another tie into it. So
God, I'm so glad you mentioned that.
Yeah.
So the four faces of the tower.
Oh yeah.
So we had Beta Ray Bill.
Beta Ray Bill.
We had the Hulk.
The Hulk's on there. I know that Ares, the god of war, is one of them.
Okay.
Which is fucking awesome. I think there's one more.
Okay, so Beta Ray Bill is referenced, his face on the Grandmaster's Tower alongside a number of other Marvel characters, including Man-Thing and the Bi-Beast.
Oh, Man-Thing's on there. Fuck yeah.
Who's Man-Thing? What is that?
Man-Thing is basically Marvel's version of Swamp Thing.
Okay.
I think he's a lot more powerful than Swamp Thing.
Yeah.
I haven't read a lot of Man-Thing comics. I guess there's one series done by Alan Moore that's supposed to be absolutely fantastic. I've had that on my list of comics to read literally forever.
Really?
And I just never got to it because I'm reading other shit.
Well, maybe.
Sorry.
Maybe if you would have been on top of your shit.
Sorry.
Maybe we could have had a better podcast.
Apologize.
How about that?
Apologize. I've ruined everything.
Everything.
Yeah, that's definitely like one of the bigger things where I nerded out in the movie is Grandmaster's Tower, and just seeing like a reference to Beta Ray Bill that's not a question mark, where like Beta Ray Bill is basically a horse-faced Thor, and he has same power as Thor, and he's
why does the horse get to wield the hammer? Why is that?
That was one of the things. Like Thor met Beta Ray Bill, and he was one of the few that actually could lift Mjolnir, and he was worthy of it. So he got his own version of Mjolnir. And
how does that happen? Did it just separate into two? And he's like, oh, I got one now.
No. He got his own made for him. Thor had one made, and that's Stormbreaker.
Huh.
So he's got his own hammer. That's why I'm wondering, like, could Stormbreaker make an appearance? Because that'd be fucking cool. Like, is Thor gonna get Mjolnir back? Because I mean, I kind of miss it. But
totally, I'll miss that for like crazy. Unless, of course, they bring the fucking battle axe into it. In which case, I won't miss Mjolnir at all. Like, if I see Thor with an axe,
that battle axe too.
I understand. I get it. Okay, you hit somebody with a hammer that you're spinning around, probably the speed of fucking light or whatever the fuck. Some 800 million miles an hour. You smash somebody with it, and they explode and everything, like a big rock guy or something like that.
Yeah.
But then you get Thor to swing the hammer at an alien, and what happens? Oh, he goes flying. Fuck you. If a train hits somebody, they explode at the point of when the contact happens. So that's not what would happen. Like, Thor would hit somebody with their hammer, and they would explode.
Yeah. Like
into vapor.
I would really like to see the battle axe, though.
So if we could see the battle axe, give me some fucking reality with this shit.
Some Yarnborn.
Give me some God damn it. I really want a Marvel movie that has the what is it? The
Pizzazz.
maybe pizzazz of The Watchmen.
Oh yeah,
like
cool.
The gritty, like
just
the
grittiness.
dirtiness to it. Just be okay.
I feel like that's
with
where Netflix
you
is coming.
Fucking people up.
Yeah.
God damn it! Are we gonna go down this rabbit hole?
I don't know, man. It's a big one.
So, what else do you want to talk about with Thor? Because we have The Punisher coming out on Netflix.
I don't even know what to do about that. We've covered a lot. We haven't talked about really Loki yet. As far as Loki in this movie compared to other movies, what did you think? Because he was more of a good guy in this movie.
Was he? Was he?
I mean, more than
depends
than
what he did, because
he wasn't.
If in this movie he stole the cube and then gives it to Thanos or something like that, then all of a sudden Loki's the biggest fucking dipshit of this entire fucking movie.
Mm-hmm.
But if he didn't, then obviously Thanos is gonna get it at some point. So.
I mean, Thanos has to get all the Infinity Stones.
Has to. But how many movies is that gonna take? And make it take a movie for each Infinity Stone. I don't give a fuck.
I think it's gonna be one.
Fuck that.
Because what if Thanos gets all of them in the next movie, and then the movie after that is like the legit, like everyone versus Thanos?
Okay, so let's talk about...
the Vision's gonna fucking die. He has to.
So let's talk about this frame in Infinity Gauntlet series where Thanos is trying to win Death's heart. And he's like, what can I give her that is going to make her fall in love with me? And he snaps his fingers.
This is the shot.
And half of the population on Earth
of the
dies.
universe is fucking dead. Dead. See ya, Spider-Man.
Yep.
Dead.
Wait, nope. Spider-Man lives.
Yeah, never mind. You're right.
No, they kill off a lot of...
a lot of people die.
A lot of B-list characters.
Oh, well, you
die
know,
off in
you
that.
need like your core group to survive to take on Thanos, of course.
But there's a scene with Wolverine and Hulk sitting on the edge of a building, and Wolverine's smoking a cigar as always, and they're just sitting down and they're talking and everything, and you see all of this come together. And when I watched Spider-Man Homecoming, and I saw that Sony logo just linger.
Did that hurt you a bit?
Linger.
It really lingered, right?
Linger.
And then I was wondering, like, is Marvel coming?
Slow
When's the Marvel logo coming?
Yeah. And then that came out. It made me think, like, they were okay with selling off Spider-Man. Is Fox going to be okay with selling off Wolverine?
Have you... I'm assuming then you haven't heard like the most recent news like this week.
What happened?
So I have heard Disney is in talks to buy Fox.
Oh, no, that's good. Yes. Okay. Can we high five over that?
That's fucking X-Men. That's the Fantastic Four. Bring it in. Bring them home. Bring them home.
Oh my god. Okay. Here's the crazy thing though. Are they still going to have Patrick Stewart playing Professor X? Like, are they still?
He'd be down.
They're not going to have, but they can't. They can't have.
Give me some Illuminati, just
fucking,
something.
God damn it! I don't know. Ask me about directors of photography. I don't know about that shit.
In Avengers.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, are we going to have that? Like, am I going to see?
Hugh Jackman has said he would come back for.
Thank you. Hugh Jackman. I don't know why I couldn't think of his fucking name. That's why. So he would come back for it? He said that?
He said that before. And first off...
God damn it.
How powerful is Disney to buy Fox?
Dude, so
is your world
that
being blown
means...
right now?
Yeah, because that means we could have X-Men versus Avengers.
Yeah. Like, this opens up everything. And the funniest article I read was, is this gonna mess with the Marvel timeline? It's like, who fucking cares? Like, is this going to mess with continuity? I don't give a shit. Like, that's all the X-Men movies. All X-Men movies just fuck with continuity. But to see the X-Men versus the Avengers...
They had an entire movie all about time travel, and there's a lot of shit they didn't fix.
Yeah.
So, if that's the case, go fuck yourself with your continuity because you're not gonna. I know you're not gonna fix anything going on with it. X-Men 3, hands down, worst movie of anything Marvel's ever been involved in.
It's really bad.
I feel like it's the
really
absolute
bad.
worst.
Really
Not constantly. Like, there's this one moment, like, 4 years ago. But I had this conversation about how Spider-Man 3 was worse than X-Men 3. And I'm like, I've only seen Spider-Man 3 once. But X-Men 3, I still believe, was the worst. I was embarrassed sitting in that movie theater. You know what it felt like? It felt like I was watching The Office.
Yeah.
And I was watching Michael Scott do something. And I was just like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed for him right now.
X-Men 3 was really bad. And
he's a level 5 man. Oh my God.
I feel like if you're going to compare it to Spider-Man 3, Spider-Man 3 actually has some really beautiful moments. It's got some really, really shitty moments, but like I'm specifically thinking of, just going to nerd out for a second.
Yeah.
Of when Sandman is created, and that is a beautiful scene.
It really is.
And the fact that like he's pulling, like he's realizing that he is no longer a person, and he's coming out of sand. And he's just trying to figure it out. And he finds this locket with a picture of his daughter in it. And with the music, like with that, and he pulls himself together and he's like, I'm fucking going. And he gets out of there. I love that. I love that scene. Like that scene makes the movie watchable for me.
Really?
A lot of that movie sucks balls though.
Because that's like 4 minutes into the movie.
I know.
Those other 94 minutes, pretty hard to watch.
It's rough. It's rough. But like, I mean, if you know what I'm talking about, definitely go look it up on YouTube of like when Sandman is born in Spider-Man 3. Like that's such a cool fucking scene. As far as the rest though, goddamn.
I mean, it was rough with and then with like brushing the hair outside, going like emo Spider-Man, and having a dance scene.
Just
so
the whole introduction of Venom was so off. It's fucked up.
But they did hit it on the head with like what happened in the comics. It's like Clock Tower
in the church.
He loses it. The symbiont goes down.
Yeah, I wasn't mad at that at all.
Rock.
Like that's a good scene
that was
too.
Cool.
Yeah,
but it looked like dog shit.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it so anyway.
I feel like the symbiote was like a little too like goopy.
Yeah.
But that's just me nitpicking again. Reeling it back to Ragnarok.
Oh yeah, that's why we're here.
Tangents, yo.
But we're gonna have, but we could fucking have X-Men and fucking Avengers on the same screen.
That is a possibility. If Disney buys Fox, then there's nothing.
We could have an entire podcast about what if Disney does buy Fox.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to. I'd love to talk about that because the possibilities are insane.
I mean, we could do like the with the death of Spider-Man. And then Octavius taking over Spider-Man's body and swapping and everything.
The Superior Spider-Man storyline, yes.
Oh, Jesus.
A lot of people really like that storyline. Where Spider-Man isn't there and a villain, Doc Ock, takes over Spider-Man's body and becomes a better Spider-Man than Spider-Man was to commemorate Spider-Man's memory. Mm-hmm. Because it's like, once Doc Ock, he's a villain, you know, but once he realizes... It was
amazing to see how much he didn't give a fuck about pussy,
God
though.
Damn. But like once he realizes all the shit that Peter Parker went through, he sympathizes and he's like, you know what? I'm gonna try the Spider-Man thing out and just be better than Spider-Man was. Yeah. And he just like makes it work. And like, how fucking cool was that? Back to Ragnarok.
Fair enough. All right.
What did you think of Valkyrie?
Acting was on point.
Yeah.
I thought that when we saw Valkyrie for the first time, it was also one of the first times that we saw anything connected with Guardians of the Galaxy. The whole...
Oh, yeah. That was cool.
Like, that thing, like, that was fucking dope.
Yeah.
That was really cool, and that felt a lot like a Guardians of the Galaxy thing. That seemed like something that Rocket would do. Mm-hmm. You know? Like, have those gloves... punch it in,
technology,
and then like mow them all down. I felt like that was really cool, and I was like, oh, okay, well, we're definitely going to be seeing the Guardians at this point. But knowing that she was in there, and there was a lot of really cool flashback points in that, where you see all of these fucking swords coming out, and they're riding all down towards her and everything.
That was very cool.
That was fucking incredible.
She's almost like as an expositional character, where like her history is also explaining Hela.
Yeah,
which I mean, I wasn't opposed to that. I
wasn't either, but I wish that she would have been like more of a sad, like depressed drunk.
Yeah,
more than just like, man, go fuck yourself. I don't give a shit.
If you think about it, though, like how many Hela has been like in prison for at least 1,000 years.
But how long is 1,000 years to somebody who lives 2 millennia?
Yeah, I mean that's true. That's true. Yeah. But like she's had some time to get over. Well, it still hurts, but she's had some time. She's had some time to think about that and just become a normal drunk. She doesn't have to be a depressed drunk.
Equivalency of 1,000 to 1,000,000 would be 1 to 100.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, let's say, no, that's a horrible example. But I don't know. I feel like it still would have been kind of fresh. Anyway, so Valkyrie, I was a fan of. I didn't feel like they were a team. Hulk, Thor, Valkyrie, Loki.
Yeah,
I didn't feel like they were a fucking team.
They didn't really bring it together that well. They didn't have a moment that connected them really.
But you know what? They did in Avengers, and I felt and maybe because I didn't realize that Team Thor was a team, that made it kind of cooler.
The Revengers.
Revengers, yeah.
Okay. What do you think about like a potential love interest in the future for Thor?
Finally, you'd be able to have sex with somebody who could, be able to be around for more than like 10 minutes.
Yeah,
basically.
And someone could handle the mighty cock of Thor.
Mighty cock of Thor. What's that name? Mew Mew. Let's call him Mew Mew.
Yeah.
The mighty cock of Thor is now named henceforth Mew Mew.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. I as far as Valkyrie goes, I was a fan. But I didn't feel like... It was hard, dude. Fuck. This was so difficult because I feel like I got thrown out of this whole movie, like, and trying to, like, know and understand, like, what was going on in this and feel like I could really get into it. Because some motherfucker decided to get into an argument in the middle of a movie theater.
Oh, no, dude.
Like, so we were about halfway through the movie. We were almost an hour in. Not quite, almost. And all of a sudden from the back I start hearing like, hey, just shut the fuck. It's like some little something. And I'm like, what? And I'm in Denver when this happens. Okay, so I'm in Denver, Colorado when this happens. And I'm like, what the fuck? And usually my first reaction to somebody like having an argument in the movie theater is, hey, shut the fuck up. Like, and it's just like,
Yeah.
I got up to turn around to do that, and this guy next to me, who, we didn't say a fucking word, we were drinking beers together and shit like that, and, like, I felt like, we're here watching Thor alone together, so we could be buddy-buddy, but we hadn't said a fucking word to each other. He's like, no, just
chill, just like, chill, bro.
I was like, dude, it's just, I'm just telling him to shut the fuck up, like, what's... He's like, and he just like I forgot, dude. I forgot that Rises happened in Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
And that it seemed like everybody after I sat back down and I realized that, I felt it in the room. I felt this tension.
Oh, really?
In the room, because it was like, and that kid who did what he did, I mean, fucking horrible.
Yeah.
But I wasn't getting into an argument with some guy's buddy or whatever like that. Just be like, maybe you should go fuck yourself. Maybe you should go fuck yourself.
So it was like just a legit argument.
It was an argument, and they were going fucking at it.
Were they fucking drunk or something?
Oh, I'm sure they were. I was drunk.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, we were watching it, and we were having a good time and everything, and then these two start fucking going. Manager comes into the movie theater, and she's just like, hey, everybody, sorry about this. We'll fix it, whatever. Can I have the people who were in the altercation please come outside with me really quick? We're gonna back your movie up. Yeah.
Was it like were there like fists thrown?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. It was like they were going down. They were getting into it. And
really?
Shit. Yeah.
Did they say? Could you tell what they were fighting over?
No, I can't tell. I couldn't tell shit.
Douchebags,
It was just a lot of like, fuck you, well, fuck you too.
Fuck me, fuck you.
You didn't like the way Hela was brought up? I like the way Hela was brought up. But they ended up taking... So then...
So these dudes were removed from... They stopped the movie?
Yeah, they stopped the movie, paused the movie.
And these dudes were removed from the theater?
Yeah, and you know what? It wasn't that much of a fight that, like... I mean, the movie theater was probably, like, half filled. Mm-hmm. And 3/4. And these two were fighting, and it was just like, yeah, shut the fuck up, whatever. And, like, go back to the movie. And when I was watching the movie, it was just like... That was kind of distracting for a second, but I'm back in the fucking movie right now.
Right.
And then I didn't really bother me. Like, they had kind of quieted down at that point. It was fine.
Yeah.
Then they stopped the movie, and they're like, we're going to back up the movie for everybody, and we're going to make it so that it's like this didn't happen.
We're used to this in
We're
Colorado.
a weed city. We know that people can't focus on one thing at once. That's all fine. Which
everybody smoke a little bit of weed right now. We're gonna backtrack a bit, play the movie over.
That sounds like a rendition of Trump, but like a gay Trump.
Well,
like that sounds like.
I guess that's my movie theater persona.
So they're like, we're gonna back the movie up a little bit, and we're just gonna make sure everybody is like, you get to see it from the point where they started. It's like, all right, great. Can we just fucking watch the movie? Like, I'm watching Loki spin his fucking things right here, and the Grandmaster's doing his thing, and like, I'm trying to figure out what the fuck's going on. And then it's like, just back it up like a minute.
Yeah.
Half an hour.
Goddamn.
They backed it up. We're at an hour right now in the movie, and so it's like, okay, we're gonna go through this, and everyone in the theater's like, no, forward, and the projectionist doesn't give a fuck. They don't give a shit.
That's so weird, dude. Like I've seen a lot of fucking movies.
Yeah.
As you know.
Yeah.
I've never seen that happen.
It was I couldn't believe it. Was surprising. Where you go, do they usually serve alcohol in the movie or no?
No.
No. Okay. This one they do.
I'm
sure that probably had something to do with it because you could hear the slurring.
Yeah. I mean, I rotate between like 3 theaters. There is one that does serve alcohol.
Yeah.
I rarely go to that one though.
Yeah.
But I had an incident in the theater I was in too. The second time around I saw it. I had your classic, movies rolling, enjoying it, and then you hear it like, someone brought a fucking baby into the movie. Don't do that.
Why don't you look into this camera
Okay.
here and give like a little PSA
Okay.
for why and what should happen to people who bring babies in the movie theater?
If you have a baby, you're not allowed to see movies with that baby, okay? Nobody wants you there, all right? It's just like, fucking get a babysitter. If you can't get a babysitter, stay the fuck home. I don't care if you want to see Thor. Don't bring your goddamn baby, because the baby's gonna cry. Congratulations about your baby, but no one wants to hear the baby cry. And if the baby starts crying, get the fuck out. I'm getting mad now. I've had this happen way too many times.
So
get the fuck out.
So do you feel like you'll do that? You have a kid. Do you feel like you're like, oh, I guess I can't go to movies for like
I will
a while.
make sure something or someone watches the kid and like just make sure that the kid's okay so I can go see a movie. I will never bring a child.
I found this like little like it's sort of like a thing on Amazon. It was like this. It's like a crate, and you can put a water bottle in.
Okay, yeah.
I can't do it. I want to do it so bad. Can't do it straight face. A water bowl, a little food dish. It said you can leave them on there for 7 to 8 days.
Yeah, I mean,
okay,
right?
That sounds fine. Yeah,
whatever works.
Sounds great.
It's just a couple hours, you know.
But it's a movie, so fucking get the
Just
fuck out with your baby.
don't bring your children into I don't know what age is appropriate to bring children into a movie. Maybe ease them into it with Disney movies.
I feel like
where there's other children, but like a baby that like it's a baby. It doesn't know that there's a movie going on.
Right.
It just hears sounds that are loud and it starts crying.
And it gets
when it
scared
starts
as
crying,
shit.
get out.
Yeah,
Like
it's scared as shit.
Take care of your baby. Like people go to theaters to get away from the lives, to enjoy like a movie. And nowadays movies aren't that cheap.
I actually only go to a movie to get away from babies.
Yeah, that's right. And when people bring babies in there, but like people escape their lives to enjoy a movie, hopefully, and don't ruin that and don't like distract people because you can't find a babysitter. Like,
or your friend is being a fucking douchebag and wants to start a fight with you.
Yeah, don't start fights. Like please. Just if you're in a movie theater, don't distract other people. Like, just let them enjoy the movie. Like, there are other people there besides yourself.
Close. But no, so yeah, let's hit it again. Overall, it was very funny, just like everybody's talking about. Everybody's saying it was a funny movie. It was a good time. It felt like popcorn movie to me.
Yeah.
But it didn't feel like some hard hitting Thor movie where like I was really like super attached to the character.
Yeah.
I love seeing like, God of Thunder really come to fruition at this point and everything. I love seeing that. But I'll tell you what, I didn't give a fuck about Asgard when it got destroyed. I was like, oh, look at that CGI shit go down.
I think
like,
that's
they didn't
because
make the connection, the emotional connection there.
I think that's because they didn't show how cool Asgardians are. Like, they've never really touched on that. Like, it's just always kind of been there.
Well, break that down. What's that like? What do you mean?
Because all of them are gods.
Yeah.
We touched on that earlier. Is that like every god has their own thing? Like,
is there a comic in particular that somebody like that they were like, let's break down like how great Asgardians are?
I think, like I said, I'm trying to remember which Thor comic it is that takes place after Civil War when he comes back and Asgard is rebuilt. But they do touch a lot on Asgard itself, and it's fucking cool. And it's a magical place.
Yeah.
But this movie, it's just it goes along well with the Marvel Universe and the tone that Guardians of the Galaxy set up for it.
Yeah.
And I think taking a funny approach was a really good way to save the Thor franchise, just because they left Thor 2 and a lot of people didn't like it. And by taking this route...
Why do you think that was, by the way?
I just think it might have been too serious and maybe a little too weird for people. And
I think it definitely got a little weird, but I think they had too much comedy in Thor 2 for it to be a serious movie. And this one, it was not a serious movie. It was absolutely 100% a comedy.
Straight up comedy.
For sure.
Yeah, this is a comedy.
But
it's funny.
It's like, but they had some drama parts. It's like Thor 2 and Thor 3 have the opposite problems.
Yeah.
And it's interesting how it works because Thor 2, a lot of drama, totally cool with the drama. Love the drama, all about that shit. Because I love The Dark Knight. And The Dark Knight had a shitload of drama in it.
That's a whole separate tone, though. That's some Christopher Nolan shit.
Is, but I thought that's what Iron Man 3 was going to be. I've said that like 800 times. But
I'm so sorry about Iron Man 3.
I know, me too.
I'm so sorry.
So, anyway, if we look at Thor 2 and Thor 3, it's like Thor 2... They went as drama heavy as they could, but dropped a bunch of little tiny comedic notes in there that were too topical for you to go ahead and say, oh, this is a drama or this is a comedy. Nah, it falls somewhere in between.
Thor 2 was also really, really Jane Foster heavy.
Super.
Yeah.
And now Thor 3,
no Jane Foster.
All comedy, but the story itself is supposed to be drama.
Yeah.
All of Asgard burns. All of it.
Well, it's. I mean,
you see the tree burn.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you take one drama versus another kind of drama, though, like this new Thor is family drama.
Yeah.
And like that goes a lot deeper than a Thor relationship.
Hard disagree there. His mom died in the last one. What the fuck are you gonna say about that?
Well, I mean, and Odin was kind of taken out of this movie too. But when
that's true.
It's sibling drama. Is that okay? It's
always been sibling drama.
That's true too. A new sibling joins the group.
Drama.
A more powerful sibling.
Yeah.
But they took the whole relationship out of it. And
I loved how Hela related to Loki too. It was kind of just like, oh, what's that? You can project yourself. You're good with sleight of hand type of deal. Like, go fuck yourself. Like, I'm the goddess of death.
Hela was a badass.
Like, I make swords happen.
Yeah, I really liked Hela a lot.
Felt a lot more like Scorpion from Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. Get over her!
Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking... I think this movie was a good step in the right direction for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Yeah. If you really want to get in depth about the character of Thor and like that world, just read Thor comics. Like those
break it down really quick. What series is the best series of Thor to read out of the gate.
I have to go. Out of the gate.
And Thor's been around for a really long time.
Yeah, Thor's been around for a long fucking
his time. Like in our time, like in IRL.
I think honestly, if you start with like the God Butcher, because it's like a story that really fleshes out who Thor is.
Sure.
Like across ages of time. Yeah. If you start with that, you can backtrack if you want. You can go forward if you want. It's kind of a self-contained story.
Yeah.
Which series is that?
God of Thunder.
God of Thunder. It's just so fucking good because the villain in that story, the God Butcher, Gore, when you find out like why he does what he does, you can sympathize with it, and you're kind of like yeah, dude, like I'd fucking do that too.
Yeah.
And he just like when you've got a dude going across time slaughtering gods and Thor investigating at 3 different periods of his life. It's so fucking cool. That has to be the best Thor comic, right?
I think it is.
I think so. Like it's so cool, and just the God Butcher on how he deals with Thor, because he's never fought a god like Thor. So
right.
Just it's beautiful.
And Thor's never fought
yeah.
somebody like Gore before.
So if you want to enjoy Thor as an accent in Marvel, like the Marvel movies, he's great in this movie. If you want to enjoy Thor and really get to know like his character and like the core of Thor. Yeah. Go read the comics. Like if you just want to like, I think that's the best way to go. Is like if you really like a movie, dive into the comics, and you can learn so much more.
Yeah. Cool. Any closing thoughts, remarks, ideas?
I just think when it comes down to this movie, I loved it. It like I said, if you're a comic book fan and you were distracted like the first time I was, give it another chance and like just let yourself enjoy the movie without being such a nerd. Just enjoy it for what it is. It's a great movie. It's a great movie.
I think the problem with it that I had was that, like, really, because I've only seen it once, was that I was so caught off guard by what this movie ended up being.
Yeah.
And I had skin in the game on this. Like, I gave a shit about this movie.
Right.
Like, I really cared.
Yeah.
And so to see it portrayed in such a different way, like, I was just caught off guard with it. I think that's where the 7% off in Rotten Tomatoes comes from, is just being caught off guard with like, oh wait, what the fuck?
Yeah, they show you that in the first scene.
Yeah,
they're like,
I should have caught up with that, but I was just like, oh, this is just a funny scene.
Yeah,
no, it's not just a funny scene. This is a funny ass movie.
Yeah, it's
so get
really
ready
funny.
for the entire movie to be just like this.
It's so enjoyable, and for us nerds, they give you what you want. But they also don't give it all. You know, like you get Korg, but that's not the comics Korg. So like I said, check out the comics if you want to dive into it a little more. But how like you get Surtur. Like you get Surtur and you get a scene where Hulk attacks Surtur, and it's hilarious and just awesome at the same time. And it's cool. Like it's a cool movie. I really enjoyed it. And like I'm excited for Thor's future. And like I mean, what if he dies? Like,
what if he loses an arm?
Okay. So in the comics, dude, if he loses an arm, but in the comics, you know, Thor loses his hammer because he becomes unworthy. Yeah. And that's the Unworthy Thor series. Mm-hmm. And who gets the hammer? Lady Thor, another person. I'm gonna spoil it. Okay, spoiler. It's Jane Foster. Jane Foster becomes the new Thor, but Jane Foster in those comics also has cancer. So she's literally dying and being like one of the strongest heroes of all time at the same time. If they took it in that direction, I would love it. Like, I'd love that. But you need a Mjolnir for that to happen. So who the fuck knows? We don't have
one right now.
Like, who the fuck knows?
Unless, well, god damn it, no. Because we saw Beta Ray Bill's statue. Mm-hmm. So that means there's got to be another
There's a Stormbreaker. Stormbreaker's out there. If Beta Ray Bill exists, then Stormbreaker exists. Yep. So there's a lot of what ifs. There's a lot of things that could just, you know, they can just, you know, dip their toe into. Yeah. Or, you know, like, you never know when these actors are going to stick to these characters and, like, how long they're going to do it for. Like I think in the Infinity War we're going to see some character deaths that we're not ready for. And we'll see what happens from that.
I want to feel something when I watch a Marvel movie and just be so caught off guard. Yeah. And I can't say enough about the trailers for this. I was so happy with what they did with all the trailers in this.
It made you want to see the movie.
So many different directions. It's not even that it made me want to see the movie. It's a Marvel movie. I'm a comic book nerd. Of course I was going to see the movie.
Right.
But it made me excited for what could be rather than be like, oh, I know what's going to happen in this fucking movie.
Yeah.
I want to sign off with just, first off, where can people find your shit, all of your YouTube stuff?
I do movie reviews
like that.
on
What do you
YouTube.
do?
Yeah, I do. I have a YouTube channel. You can find me at MacGuffin Man. As MAG, not McGuffin. It's how it's pronounced. I try to make it easy for people to find me. But yeah, MacGuffin Man. I do 3-minute movie reviews for people that don't have the time to watch.
You put any spoilers in those movie reviews?
No fucking way, man. Why would I do that?
I don't know. We're doing it right now. A bit more longer format. By the way, did you catch on to in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, that planet where everybody went to fuck the robots was called Contraxia?
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
No.
Like contracting it is... Right.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I thought it was funny.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I saw that the other night, and I was like, it's good.
Yeah.
Anyway, what do you want to talk about next time? Because we obviously know when all this shit's going to come back. Black Panther is going to be fucking coming out.
Oh God, yeah.
Super excited about that.
We could talk about a couple things. Because I feel like the Punisher's coming out, and I'm a huge fan of the Punisher.
We did do the entire Luke Cage series in one night.
Yeah, if you want to check out,
I can do that again.
If you want to check out me and Matt do a commentary on the Luke Cage series, it's 5 videos we made.
I think it was 9, wasn't it?
Well,
it was more than 5.
It was how many episodes?
Oh wait, it was 1 every 3 episodes,
yeah.
wasn't it? And
so
then
it
one
was
for the final.
I think it was 5 episodes total, maybe
like
20 minutes each, but like it's there's some really funny stuff in there.
There's some good shit.
So if you want to find that, that's on my channel, MacGuffin Man. And I would really like to watch The Punisher, see what I think, and I would love to talk about that. Yeah. But let's take our time and watch it. We don't have to
2
do
days.
It. Yeah, it's
2 days. We'll watch it in 2 days. How about that?
Luke Cage was really hard to get through in such a short amount of time.
Sweet Christmas.
But I'm thankful we did it.
Yeah, me too.
We had some chili and it was delicious.
That's right.
But there's the Punisher's coming out. You've got Black Panther in February, I think. There's just there's a lot of good comic book shit coming out, and I do movies, so
next thing you're super excited about, let me know. We'll sit down. We'll
absolutely, dude. Hell yeah. Fuck yeah.
Thanks for watching, all you guys. See ya all around. Later!